Yeah, I call my Montsho. We do a Comb House Initiative culturally based counseling and consulting firm. Coming on, and I want to connect with you to share some observations that I'm having about male and female communication. Now, the backdrop is that we're in an active cohort of our premier relationship skills building program called Acoma Soul. It's a 7-week program that is going to teach what we call the Super 7 Soulmate skills, which are the baseline skills that you need to deal with anything, absolutely everything in the intimate relationship. So, naturally, the gateway skill is what we call 3D communication. That's deep, dynamic, and deliberate. So, we're in the module. The first week, we have 2 sessions. And we're teaching our patented technique called the Feel, Understand, Do. It is a 3-minute technique of 2 minutes of effective speaking and 1 minute of active listening and reflecting that is going to bridge the gap of the feminine style of communication and the male style of communication to build rapport and agreement, right? So one of the things that I'm noticing is, like, I understand a concept, which is a backdrop, and that is men think, then we act, then we process the action and reaction of the results, and then we emote. Women emote, then they act. In other words, they feel, then they act. Then they can process the results of their actions and reactions, and then they think deeply. This complementary style is intentional. In our divine creation, we're supposed to be complements, but in a practical social dynamic, it's annoying to both of us. Men's style is annoying to women, and women's style is annoying to men. And furthermore, we have not been taught as men to properly and effectively speak with women. And similarly, as women, we have not been taught to properly and effectively speak to men. This is extremely problematic because, we in relationships with each other. Men are in relationships with women and women are in relationships with men. All kinds of relationships, not just the intimate one, which is the highest, but our professional, civic, even as brother and sister, our friend groups. We're in relationships with the complement sex, but we only know how to speak in one psychological cadence, and this is a problem. So the Feel, Understand, Do regulates this, and what I'm seeing is that people don't understand structure over content, right? So, for example, there's a brother in Soul, and he's constantly talking about feeling unvalued, disrespected, and just not appreciated by his woman. This is a feeling that a lot of black men feel. So I often say, "Hi, I'm Montsho Edu, a black man in America, and I have a hypersensitivity to disrespect as a result," right? So the brother is saying that he explained something to the woman, asked her to do something, and she actually did it. However, even after she did it, the way he felt was that, there wasn't a real connection, an empathy, a respect, a love for where he was coming from. And it was frustrating because, mind you, she actually did the task that he asked, but it just didn't feel like she really cared from his perspective. On the other hand, I have a sister who is on the East Coast, the Northeast. She moved from the Southeast, way deep down, like in Florida area, all the way up to the top, like Connecticut area, right? And she misses her friends. She moved with her man, and she misses her friends. She misses some of the people she was interacting with. Her family isn't necessarily there, but she misses them. And so she expressed feeling lonely. She used the technique slightly incorrectly, and when she began to talk about what she was going to do, she actually enumerated a whole bunch of stuff that was doing stuff by herself. And like, when men hear this kind of stuff, it's very annoying. It's very disenchanting, and it makes men not want to have conversations with women about anything, not just relationship stuff, not just problems, not just negative feelings, positive feelings, neutral stuff, mundane, really important, because there seems to be a lack of logic progression and a repeat of feelings, and even the production of producing the feeling, even when women say they don't want it. But to women's defense, they are cyclical. So they have a feeling, they come back to it, they come back to it, they come back to it again. Where men are oftentimes linear. We move from A to B to C. Neither one of these is more correct. Neither one of them is more important or right and the other one wrong. They are actually both necessary in balance. But men are not being taught to appreciate and respect the feminine cycle, and women are not being taught to effectively deal with the masculine linear and rational. The feel, understand, do reconciles that. It is unequivocally a technique that will reconcile the difference in the way we speak. And so I'm striving to tell the people there that, you really have to focus on the structure and not the content. What do I mean? The structure of the feel, understand, do teaches a woman to talk in a man style and a man to talk in a woman style in a very short presentation, a 2-minute presentation, and then gets the listener, if he's a man, to listen in a woman style and then reflect. And if she's a woman, to listen in the man style and then reflect. And if that's done well, 8 times out of 10, they're going to come to agreement. But it even is usable when you're talking about coming, if you disagree. You can also use it to reflect on past experience, thoughts, or feelings. And you can use it aspirationally to project into future thoughts, feelings, and desires. So it's a 360-degree technique, but what you have to understand is that it focuses on structure and not content. So using the feel, understand, do in a 2-minute sequence or round, you could talk about anything in your life and everything from A to Z. There isn't a subject that you can't use it for. It's so fluid that you can actually use it with strangers. You can shrink the 2-minute speaking cycle down to 10 seconds and still get the 3 elements that create the bridge of understanding, rapport, and agreement. And so the technique is near perfect, but the user has to understand I'm more focused initially on structure than I am content. And when you do that, you could talk about blueberries, cartoons, beauty salon, hairdos, your favorite outfit, getting your nails done, raising the children. You can fight, you can disagree, talk about parents, grief, loss, sports, the playoffs, everything. It allows you to speak, and you can be effective, efficient, and elegant in the style of the listener, which is ultimate power. Then you could build rapport within your relationships, but also in your life. And you become a person that is sought after to communicate, to resolve differences, to intercede, to speak up on people's behalf, to help articulate, to properly articulate what people might be thinking, feeling, or desiring. And so it's a 360-degree experience and skill that many people do not have. And I want to say at the closing that these are not people who are just poo-putt people, right? We deal at the Acoma House Initiative with Blacks in Leadership, what we call Blacks in Leadership. So they're leaders in their families. They're leaders in business. We have currently a millionaire in this cohort. We have real estate magnates. We have a doctor. We have some people who our entrepreneurs, a brother who came home from prison. We got a little bit of everybody here, right? And all of them have that leadership quality. So it's often difficult to help these people accept that, hey, even though I have a best-selling book, or even though I may be an actor or a business owner and I'm successful as a real estate magnate or whatever I am, I actually am not good at speaking in the intimate relationship, because the intimate relationship is unique and distinct from all other relationships, yo. Like, you have to have a whole different style of talking. But then when you put on top of that, the person that you're talking to has certain beliefs that you might not have. They have an elemental identity that you might not have, meaning they might be airy, earthy, grounded, real practical in their approach. They might be watery and fluid. They might be fiery and hot to anger. So they have an elemental identity. They also may have, they also definitely have a modality lean. They're leaning to one of the modalities. So maybe they're a visual person, a kinesthetic person, or an auditory person. The Feel, Understand, Do helps you reconcile all of this in 2 minutes. It's amazing. I'm going to say so. I'm going to be immodest and say so myself. We created it and we are teaching it to other therapists and people around. So it's patented. You probably won't see it. Well, you may see it because it's spreading, but know for a surety when you see it that we are the copywritten owners and patented creators of this technique. And it erases a lot of confusion, doubt, walking on eggshells, being uncertain about how you're going to say this thing to this person. It really makes conversation a confident and congenial experience, right? Even when you disagree, because it doesn't erase disagreement, but it shows you how to deal with it in a back and forth. And the most beautiful part about it to me is it's a 3-minute technique in totality. So the speaker is effective speaking for 2 minutes. The listener is active listening for 2, and then they're reflecting for 1 as the speaker hears for 1 minute what they said to verify if the meat and the most important parts are understood. Then if they have agreement, they go into action plan. Man, if we learned how to talk like this earlier on, we would have a lot less problems in relationships. So if you're interested in learning to Feel, Understand, Do, you want to join Akoma Soul, and you want to learn the art and science of Black love culture so that you could win at love. So get with it. Until the next time, as always, your brother greeting you in peace and saying, Nia Akoma.